Welcome, everyone, and thank you again for joining another Silicon Labs product podcast. Today, we have Parker Dorris with us again. Parker, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
We're going to cover a little bit more detail on the Wireless Express products that are being introduced by Silicon Labs, specifically for you, the Bluetooth Express product. So excited to have you answer a little bit more questions about the product, and I think it's going to be great for our listeners to learn a little bit more detail.
Yeah, happy to talk about it.
So Silicon Labs created this part, and it was primarily due to customer demand. You mentioned in the last podcast about the support tickets and some of the issues with that. But can you share some of the other issues and requests that help define this product for Silicon Labs?
Yeah, ever since we've been selling Bluetooth products as a company, we've always gotten some feedback from customers that they're asking for a Bluetooth cable replacement. They're asking for some solution that does not require them to compile code. Really, they're asking for a solution that just works. We see these tickets in Salesforce. We see these tickets on the forum post. There's just a broad base of customers that want to add Bluetooth connectivity without becoming Bluetooth experts, and that's what the Bluetooth Express product is meant to address, and it's meant to address the challenge points in development beyond just writing firmware as well. We're talking about mobile app development and pre-certified hardware, and we're talking about cloud connectivity for secure and easy OTA. So we're just trying to address the different points that we've seen customers hit snags, especially in smaller groups, especially in lower tech companies that need to add Bluetooth connectivity to a product, but don't really have the resources or time or inclination to become Bluetooth experts within their market windows.
Okay, so I've also seen a lot of competitors, a lot of other solutions out there that claim to be the easy way to add Bluetooth to his design. And so how do you explain the differentiation between our product and some of these competitive solutions?
Mm-hmm. So I view them as they kind of fall into two categories. I think there is a very cost-effective module solution. It's usually based on older silicon, and really the firmware that's running in those products is kind of just a glorified code example, and it may function as a BLE cable replacement, but it's really hard to find one of those more the older technologies, the older modules that are on the market that will support a developer throughout every stage of the development process to drive to market. I think that it's especially obvious when you start looking at mobile app development. Support options for these companies, for these offerings, are usually either non-existent or very poor. There's another set of module vendors that sell these types of pre-programmed modules. MuBlocks is one, Laird is another, and what's important to see with those companies is that at the end of the day, the silicon that they're using in those products is not their own. When you dig into their application notes, when you look at their own forums and places like that, you'll see that there's always a point at which they have to sort of throw customers over to the Nordics of the world that are responsible for the silicon inside their modules. And one thing that Silicon Labs can offer that no one else can is everything in the module is ours, and our support teams know every layer in the stack up that goes from the Express Command API all the way down to the registers in the underlying silicon. Even functionality that we're not really exposing directly to Express customers, our support staff is going to know about, our design teams understand, and so we can be more responsive. We can give a deeper level of more insightful level of support than our competition can.
So again, just end-to-end support, complete, not only in development steps. You mentioned just the design, but then the app development, we have that. But then understanding the whole, being able to support any ticket because we control the silicon, the module, and the software. So that's perfect. So I understand that makes us a competitive, differentiated part. But how can customers quickly experience these benefits, and how easy it is? Have you released things that will help customers get started quickly?
Yes, so at launch we are releasing a BGX expansion board. It has a BGX 13P device on it, and it has an edge connector that can interface with our EFM8 and EFM32 starter kits. And so we're using those starter kits as a way to demonstrate this sort of embedded host to Bluetooth Express connection style. And we're releasing code examples in the EFM8 SDK that can communicate with the BGX and either communicate in a BGX to BGX use case where you can actually link two BGX devices together, or a BGX to phone use case. And I want to say that it's kind of intentional that we chose the 8-bit products as a platform to demonstrate the embedded host functionality. And this shows how to communicate with the part, how to configure the part, how to use all the features of the Bluetooth Express. We chose EFM8 because we want to make sure that people understand the limited resources that are required to add Bluetooth connectivity to a product. You can use our most cost-effective 8-bit product and still have a Bluetooth link. You can use any MCU on the market and add a Bluetooth link to it with the BGX. With these wireless express devices, you're able to sort of choose the MCU that suits your application, not choose the MCU that your Bluetooth transceiver requires, for instance. So in addition to the code examples we're offering in the SDK, we also have a mobile app called BGX Commander. BGX Commander is available on iOS and Android, and it's built on top of the Express framework. The Express framework is basically an open source library that abstracts away a lot of the Bluetooth complexity that comes with developing in the mobile app space. And the source code for that application is available on GitHub in the Silicon Labs space on GitHub.
Perfect. Well, that's the 8-bit. I think is great. I mean, if there are a ton of customers out there listening that probably have an 8-bit device, or maybe 32. But the fact that you guys have taken the time to do examples using an 8-bit MCU, so those people can just see that it's been done, have reference code. I think that's really helpful, and they'll definitely get them started quickly. So you mentioned the app development, and I know firsthand that you took time to work with the Express environment and all the app development resources that we provide our customers. Why don't you tell the listeners? I mean, you found it surprisingly easy for you. Even Parker was able to do a good app development flow. Is that true?
Yeah, I needed to develop a mobile app for a training series that we were doing to support Bluetooth Express. And I know I entered into that effort being pretty scared of mobile app development. I found it pretty intimidating to start with, but I think, honestly, that we've done a really great job of finding a way to abstract the core Bluetooth API complexity while still giving customers enough flexibility to do what they need to do with the Bluetooth link. So we created this Express framework that gives customers the opportunity of just calling read and write routines instead of learning how GAT tables work, learning how to edit, update characteristics in a service. And so we've kind of flattened out the Bluetooth interface so that it doesn't really look that much like Bluetooth from the mobile app layer. It really just looks like you're communicating through a library that could be a serial link. And the other thing we've done is that we've developed this framework for both Android and iOS, and the APIs look the same across both Android and iOS. But anybody who's actually developed Bluetooth-enabled mobile apps for both of those operating systems knows that Android handles Bluetooth differently than iOS handles Bluetooth. Learning one does not mean that you learn the other. And so with the Express framework, we've kind of enabled that. It's the same APIs. If you develop an iOS app, you're 95% of the way toward being able to develop your Android app as well in terms of Bluetooth connectivity. And so that's something that we're providing as part of our solution. And frankly, I have not found a competitive solution that offers that same level of support in terms of mobile app development while also giving customers all of the other head starts in development that we're giving with the Bluetooth Express line.
That's great. So, again, just I keep repeating this over and over, but I want to make sure our listeners understand. I mean, this is a part, the Bluetooth Express, that will simplify the hardware design, potentially integrating with an existing design, or even from a new design standpoint. And the customers don't need to know anything about Bluetooth. They just need to know what their application has to do. And then you take it a level higher, and you're allowing them to develop potentially a phone mobile app, and you provide all that at a very flat, as you mentioned, level, very simple with examples for people to use. But you're also allowing BGX to talk to another BGX and do cable replacement. I mean, you're really simplifying adding Bluetooth to customer designs.
The whole point of Wireless Express is to just kind of make the wireless work so that customers don't have to worry about it anymore. And that, there are challenge points for wireless development across the entire, development cycle that leads to market. And Wireless Express is designed to try to just give customers the space to concentrate on the aspects of their product that make their products differentiated and innovative and successful in the market. And so that means some different things for the Wi-Fi Express and some different things for the Bluetooth Express. But at the end of the day, what we're trying to do is just provide a level of support from concept to market that none of our competitors can quite match.
That's great. Well, again, I thank you, Parker, for taking the time. I know you're busy getting this out the door, but I think everyone listening is excited to see the results of all your work. And if there's more information they need, I know there's a short URL we're showing on the screen now. But what is that short URL that people can get more information specifically about the BGX?
So you can get to BGX just from the Bluetooth, the Blue Gecko landing page on siliconlabs.com. You can just go to silabs.com/BGX start and get information from there. Perfect. About the evaluation board and other documentation and Simplicity Studio, everything you need to get started.
Great. Thank you again, Parker, and thank you for the listeners, and have a great day.